Very good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to FYI. Today is the 16th day of July. Believe it or not, folks, half the month is gone already. What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been doing? Half the month has passed us. Swoosh! And God, hope you guys are well. Hope the last 15 days have been good to you. Whatever you've been doing, whatever work you've been doing, whatever play you've been at, we hope the last 15 days have been good to you. And we hope that today gets even better. That is our hope, each and every one of you who are joining us this morning from around the world. See all join us from all these various places. Folks joining from the Ville, Maryland, Atlanta, folks joining us from all quarters. June Griffith and Gwazi. Griffith, the whole Griffith clan out this morning. Deborah Pearson is here too. Claudette, thanks for the thing. Claudette, thanks for the thing. How are you all doing? Thank you so much, Claudette. Well received, Claudette. Well received. We hope you guys are good and well in many places you all are from. Good and well, my people. Good and well. How you all doing now? How you all doing? Do let us know. Good morning, folks. Shauna Fortune. Good to see you here this morning, Shauna. And all those other folks joining us. See you there, Camille. Camille, we see you there. Deborah Pearson. We see you too and all the other folks joining us. Good morning, guys. Good morning to each and every one of you. Oh, it's a good morning where you are. Yesterday, I received a birthday card. July 15th, celebrated for my 45th. 15 days ago. Got a lovely birthday card yesterday. Love it. It says especially for you. I love people who are thoughtful like that. To go out and buy a birthday card is real old school. So thank you, Claudette. Claudette says here, birthday wishes. Have a wonderful day. I didn't even ask Claudette permission to read this. May today and the year ahead be happy through and through. Right? Through and through. Thank you, Claudette. Thank you for that. Yep. May it bring hope. Right? And those special things your way that mean the most to you. Amen to that. Happy birthday. Yeah. And wasn't a card alone. I want you all to know that. Wasn't a card alone. The card had some, Jesus Lord of mercy. The card had some things. Thank you so much, Claudette. No, you all mind more on the things and on the card. It's a thought that counts. Thank you so much. Oh, Vex. Thank you so much, Claudette. Send me a whole card. Claudette sent the card a little while now. I went just yesterday to pick it up. I went yesterday. I had a time yesterday. Right? Look how Royston get distracted now. Royston want to Claudette who? You don't bother with that. Don't let us detain us this morning. Who Claudette? Don't bother with that. Who Claudette? But it's not the Claudette. It's not any Claudette who swing. This Claudette strong and nice. And it came in a card and all of that. Lovely. Watch this handwriting. Could you see it? No, it's too white. Let's see if we can get it in closer. Yeah, there it is. You see that? You see that? Only a good camera gonna focus like that, Only a good camera. Look at the handwriting there. You see that? You can frame that. Only a good camera gonna focus like that, Sony something. Bought this camera in the earlies. Folks help us out. Send us a contribution. This camera here cost us, I think, well over $1,000 US. Sony something. I can't figure out all of it. But you see, got good focus. Thank you. Thank you, Claudette. Brenda Morris, I know it's not saying. Thank you so much, God. It's the words that got to me. It's not so much the other contents. You see, that was in there. But it was the thoughts and the words here. Yeah. And it came, I had a little tiring day yesterday, going between things and issues and so on. And then ups comes Claudette Carey, you know, which meant the world to me. Ups comes Claudette Carey, saying, may the whole year be grand. Yeah. I'm still celebrating, folks. Thank you, Claudette, and all the other folks who are joining us this morning. Good to see you there. Cole Providence says, I want to be Claudette's friend. I'm not too certain I want to share my friends. I'm not too certain. Thank you so much, Claudette. Means the world to us. But that's so good to see you here, and Debbie Collins. I saw Debbie, it's when I saw Debbie. When was it, Debbie? Was Saturday? Debbie saw Debbie looking fresh. Dress up. Debbie, was it Saturday? Was it Saturday or was it Friday? I think it was Saturday. I seen Region 11, one Marva, joining us from Region 11. Good morning, Marva. Jilly G, thanks for the thing as well. You know, Jilly G sent me a pair of specs. Working wonderfully. I use them intermittently. I don't have that's a word for it. Jilly, you might be very pleased to know I have a picture. Send me two, as a matter of fact. And a lovely cologne. You want me, Jilly G, friend? Thank you, Jilly G. I keep a pair in the car just in case I forget one home. Keep a pair in the car. Ready, clicks. Put on my specs. Thank you so much. Yeah. You gotta get good friends, you know. Look, my mother used to tell us something when we were growing up. You got a whole set of friends. Trying to capture your tone. The tone kept you on the straight and narrow. You got a whole set of friends. And if you get in trouble now, not one of them can help you. I thought about the things for a long time. If you're hungry right now, none of them will give you a plate of food. I thought about it for a long time. You know, we get to choose our friends in this life, you know. Let's say I choose Jilly G. I choose Claudette. I choose Claudine. Dukwa. From Kukwani. I choose my friends. I choose Edward. Dolly. I choose all 400 of y'all watching us 8 minutes into our broadcast. I choose y'all. You know, I choose Mr. Norton. I sat down with Mr. Norton yesterday and we talked about a couple of things. I'm thankful. Folks, I try not to be a burden to people. Right? My whole life has been like that. Quietly treading. Some of you are trying to be a distraction right now. Try not to be a burden to people. You know? Urban Don say on choose you. Urban Don say I unchoose you. You see story here now? You try not to be a burden to people. Ease and press. Ease them. I like when I call people, they're happy to pick up the phone. You know? Oh, is he again? Is this one again? Is something you want to borrow? I try not to send y'all requests for funds too often. I try not to be a burden too often to people. You know what I mean? I'm happy when I call, people pick up. You know, it says Sharon, as is you. As is you. Right? Look, I want to tell you all this. I try not to be a burden to people. I'm sure some of you are from the old school. You don't bother people too steady. You know, don't bother people. And I'm happy when I call Mr. Norton. What do you think about these police people here and so on? What do you think about Calvin Brutus and company? There's 16.5 million and so. He said, let me sit down. He said, I got some things on my chest. You know? Naomi here. I saw Naomi in high praises last night. I see a different side of Naomi last evening. Naomi, is you there? Is the same person? Like, I want some verification. Is the same person? It's like a different during that interview last evening. I saw like a different Naomi. A different Naomi run out last evening. So as I said, I spoke with Mr. Norton yesterday. So happy to have his view on a number of things from the Ghana Police Force. Here is part of that interview. We got to touch on some other things this morning. But I found his thoughts on the Ghana Police Force and the whole Calvin Brutus scandal very, very informative. Nasa Naomi? Naomi says you're watching from the gym. All right. Don't hurt yourself there. Don't break up too many of the people equipment. The Honorable OMT McDonald is on the live. Thank you for joining us. We got honorable people joining you. You feel very privileged. Lakshman Aziz is here too. Thank you, Lakshman. Lakshman, thanks for the beef. Thanks for the plantain chip. You must support Lakshman when you're going bushla. Support the Aziz Butchery Meat Center there in Bushla. Please and thank you. Look for the building burned down the other day. It's right opposite there. Get into Bushla, the central shopping area there. The Aziz are right there. Right. I don't know what Lakshman is doing to the cow. I don't know what is doing to the cow. But that beef is be so tender. That beef is be so tender. Thank you. Thank you, good folks. Thank you, good folks. Thank you. You know, I want to say thanks to, I'm like in a thankful mood this morning. I want to say thanks to all the folks who help us. Some in immeasurable ways. Some in immeasurable ways. Right? We tend, when we have a shortfall in our expenses for this program, we're going to make up for it. Whatever little salary you get and so on, you say, all right, I can make the difference. We make target, but I can make the difference. We got a couple of folks helping us now who we got to remunerate because I can't do everything. And I want shortly that when I have to be absent from the program goes on. You know, we put out more information for you, especially we head into this exam season. And a couple of months ago, I remember two incidents that I want to say thanks to God Almighty through His Son, Jesus Christ, in whom I believe. I'm not asking that you believe, but in whom I believe. For people who just show up. You know, met a friend the other day, and he said, I saw a camera. I think you should have it. Friend. He says, very versatile. I think you should have it. I said, well, I think we have enough equipment. I wasn't thinking about anything new. We got two that we use in the studio, right? And then I bought a specific cell phone. I bought a year ago, or not 2 years ago, I bought the iPhone 13 because of the quality specific, so we can do cleaner videos when we do our interviews outside. You know, you're going to protest and so on. We put the iPhone 13 on a gimbal, And that's what we use because we want good audio. You plug a cordless mic into the iPhone 13, and we want, crisper video, right? That's fantastic work. Somebody just yesterday was telling me about the iPhone 15 is even more marvelous, but that's another story. But I said I wasn't thinking about a new camera. I'm just giving thanks this morning, if y'all will allow me. Right? I said, I think we got sufficient right now in terms of cameras. He said, I got you here. I think this is something you need. This is something you need. He said, check the price. When I told him the price on Amazon or something like that, that fella gave me the money one time. $120,000. $120,000. And we bought it a couple months ago. And that is the camera we use for the Hillfoot, not Hillfoot, Sarah Joanna shoot. All those interviews on the ground, that's a camera that we use. A microphone system. And even this interview with Mr. Norton yesterday, that was the camera we used. I want to say thanks to him. I won't call his name because he didn't give me permission to call his name. Everybody like front row. But I just want to say publicly that I still think about that, and I'm thankful. And I'm saying that to say, when people give us finances for our program, you don't go and pay nothing else. It comes to do the work of this program. As soon as I'm finished with this program this morning, I'm rushing off out of town to cover some information I think that you guys are going to find useful, valid, and credible. To do that, it takes funding. Right? It takes funding to do it. My other friend out of the blues, this one really, all of them touched me. But this one was special in this regard. I had a shortfall in meeting some of our expenses here. People see the numbers on these programs and they say, oh, he's getting a lot of money because they ask. Oh, God, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. We send a link to partner with us for $10 a month. If we have 10 people, we have plenty. If we have 10 people who have subscribed to partner with us for $10 a month, we have plenty. But people see the numbers and people say, oh, my God, you're rolling in money over there. Surprise. So we had a shortfall. And incidentally, I was thinking about my friend. Just like that, he bounced into my thought. That's up to you. We got a shortfall. I said, you know what? He's always been kind to me. Maybe I should reach out to him. Y'all don't know the travails of doing this work, You don't know the travails of doing this work. The day after that thought flew into my head, he messaged me. Just like that. He said, send me your MMG number. Send me your MMG number. Just like that. And send us what was the equivalent of $100,000. Just like that. Send me your MMG number. Out of the blues like that. I didn't call, I didn't message. He flew into my thought and said, And I tell you all, I don't like beg. I try not to be too needy. Because when I pick up my phone, I dial your number. I want people answer. Out of the blues, he messaged me and said, send me your MMG number. I said, well, what's the Lord works in mysterious. I want to say thanks to people who help us. You think it's free lights GPL is giving? If I show y'all things we got plugging in this studio, right? Backup battery. If the power goes now, we're still on the air for a good 35 minutes. Monitors in front of me trying for blind. At least I got 4 screens right now in front of me. 2 lights in front of me here so y'all can see me clearly. We got 5 lights at the back for adequate lighting. 5 and 2 is 7 lights. 4 monitors on. You can tell with the light bill going. You can tell But all of that is that we have the kind of program here that we have. And I still want to build it better. I still want to build it better so that you keep getting valid and credible information. You see why I keep serving the Father? You see why I keep serving the Father? Folks, November is 4 years we out here. 4 years. You think you could do that for free? You can't do that for free. But I'm happy that when I call, people think about us and help us out every now and again. I'm tremendously humbled by that. Tremendously humbled by that. You know, if I was in a church setting, I would say this is a faith walk. And I want people to think a little. One flew over the cuckoo nest. It's a faith. And I'm happy when I call people and Mr. Norton answered yesterday morning. And here are some of the things we spoke. One in particular, the Gallup Police Force and the Calvin Butcher scandal. Take a listen.
Let's start with these very strong allegations that were brought against a very senior policeman recently, Mr. Brutus. They said he was trying to make a huge deposit into the police credit union, $15+ million, and the $1.5 million as interest. You're hearing a senior policeman owns multiple buildings, apartment buildings, and all of that. Is this a government that's taking corruption seriously? What are your thoughts here?
If you go back to what I was saying from the time I became opposition leader, if you do not have a proper police commissioner who is qualified and can do the work and whose integrity is not in question, then we're going to have problems. Now, before that, you had Vice President Jack Dale being accused of fraud, of bribery and corruption, without the police investigating. The very fact that the police refused to investigate it underscores the reality that the police will be guided by their activities. And so the police now know that they have to protect the political directorate so they can do it and escape. Unfortunately for them, low ranks in the Ghana police force, they were putting the information out there, so they became exposed. Now, the reality is this governing of this country is done in a corrupt way. The allocation of contracts is by, in large measure, corruption. Mm-hmm. You have corrupted the head, the body will go. And so I've been saying for the longest while that I will never agree to the appointment of present acting police commissioner because he doesn't suit the job. And it has nothing to do with anything personal. The very PPP had outlined the qualifications for a commissioner. The politicization of the police force has placed it where it is. If you politicize the police force now knows that they don't have to be accountable to the commissioner. You hear some of them talking about going directly to the president, some going to the vice president. So almost immediately you remove the line of command and create multiple points of power that policemen can access, and in the process, you undermine the structure of the police. With an undermined structure, senior policemen believe they can become involved in illegalities and get away with it because they have to protect persons. Let us not forget they would have had to get an instruction to deal with the allegations of rape against Minister Daramlal at the time. And that would have meant that policemen know, they are aware that there is political intervention and that they did a favor to the government. So they now see themselves as the government having favors for them. And that kind of create the conditions for the level of corruption you're seeing, not only at the police, but look what is happening in Goal and the GGMC. Look what has happened.
I'm coming there. I'm coming to GGMC.
So once you politicize the structures that should be independent, once you remove the line of command, you are creating conditions propitious to the high levels of corruption we've seen.
What do you think of what the Minister of Home Affairs, Robson Ben, said about investigation into the very issues concerning Mr. Brutus, that Soko was going to be doing the investigation?
Well, in a statement, we made it very clear. You can't charge Caesar to be tried by Caesar. The police has already established that they lack credibility, more so at the top. Now, you rather than send Brutus home, you claim that he is asked to be sent on leave. That in itself tells you that he continues to be who he is on leave. And therefore, there is scope for him to interfere with junior ranks. We have said in a press statement, this demands a reputable international institution such as the FBI or the authorities in Canada or some country in which their law enforcement architecture is intact. You cannot allow the police to investigate the police. It makes no sense. Mm-hmm. You need a reputable investigator, and then there's the accounts part of it, in which you might need a forensic accountant to go through, etc. So it has transcended the police force. And the police force, by its very action, would have made themselves not a candidate. It is only the blind will not see that the police cannot investigate the police. It has to be done by a reputable institution. Let us not forget, we wrote the commissioner of police when they were when there was electoral fraud in the local government election. He refused to act. Clearly, he acted to protect the PPP and their operatives. And now it is their turn to protect them. And if we're going to get anywhere with an investigation, it has to be a reputable international body undertaking the investigation.
Excellent. Let's start.
Folks, welcome back. That's what Mr. Norton said yesterday as we started the first 15 things we think you ought to know about as we start the day today, folks. We hope that you guys are well. Veronica and Lester, Gail, Ron, Magnell Barrow, Ronco Primo Rollins, we see all of you there. Welcome to the broadcast this morning, folks. You're now joining us. Ron, how are you doing? Good to have you on the live this morning. Andrew Griffith, thank you, Andrew, for all you do for us at this end. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Don Sullivan, thanks for all that you do for us at this end. First 15 things. An interesting editorial today out of the Kaicho News. Take a read of it. Elizabeth Norine. Good to see you, Elizabeth. See you in a couple of days. See you in a couple of days. Folks, we're going to be off from the around the 27th, I think it is. All right? We're going to be off a little bit. Last week in July, first week in August, 2 weeks we're going to be off, but still bringing you the valid and credible information. Believe it or not, bringing you the valid and credible information. Sebastian Orilal, good to have you on the live this morning. One of our soldiers there in Region 6. Fantastic guy, hardworking. Sebastian Orilal, good to have you on the live. Yep. Julie G says, no, I could hear the echo. But this editorial in Kaicho News this morning deals with dengue fever. Dengue on the whole, a very good editorial on dengue and a very broad brush. And part of this editorial, they're advising that with the rainy season still with us, mosquito control and awareness activities need to be intensified. PPP, intensified. That's what the editorial says. Governments in the region, in particular, the ministries of health, are advised to increase health promotion messages. One, to prevent mosquito biting and breeding sites. Intensify vector surveillance and control. This is important. Disseminate appropriate clinical care and treatment guideline. Yep. Disseminate appropriate clinical care and treatment guidelines. It tells you about the advent of dengue and how it comes about, the mosquitoes, the type of mosquitoes, treatment, and all that. A good editorial. Take a read, folks. Broaden your knowledge. Summer is upon us. Are you guys like me? You got summer reading list? What are you guys going to be doing for summer? A little traveling, admire, a little reading as well. There are a couple of things I want to get through, you know. Currently, what are you all reading? I've been trying to get through reading. I've been trying to get through, God, it was right, Adam Smith's fantastic book, Wealth of Nations, Economics. Adam Smith. Folks, it's 45 hours listening time. 45 hours listening time. Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations. Fantastic. It sets the groundwork, the rudiments in economics. Fantastic, meticulous research, written many years ago, eons ago. You know, what are you guys reading? Dengue fever. Good editorial out of Kaitro News, talking about what governments regionally, very broad brush, should be doing. This headline appealed to us a little bit. It says Exxon's 7th oil project in Guyana targets 30 wells. Well, that one kind of thing me there. 30 wells. Folks, you know the oil you're getting from these 30 wells? You know the wealth that we're getting? What you get so far? What have you gotten so far? I saw somewhere they showed us quite recently the kinds of, just give me a quick sec, the kinds of sums that we've got out from oil. It was submitted to us in the National Assembly. I was amazed. I'm trying to picture my notes here. I was quite amazed when I saw that. It is a lot of money. So the simple question I want to ask you, what have you gotten from your oil and gas? The advent of oil, we pumping oil, flipping through my notes here, because it went into the different sums that were deposited in the consolidated account over a specified period of time, up to the recent extraction. So I wanted to draw that to your attention as I saw this headline. It says that ExxonMobil, you know, going through my notes here, folks. ExxonMobil. Is this one? My Lord. I wanna quote for you some of the sums. That's what I'm looking for here. And to continue to ask the question, what you got from it yet? I saw folks building some big houses and so on, ministers of government and so on. If you see the spread, if you see some of the galleries there, it's like these people, sultans from Dubai. Can't see to put my hands on it. If you see the lavishness, my God, right? People making a lot of money off of oil and gas. Some people making a bread and eating the food. What's in it for you? What you got out of it so far? Exxon's 7th oil project in Guyana targets 30 wells. Yesterday, it's Monday, Men's Sabbath News printed its weekly edition of the cost of living. And you, how cost of living treating you? The comments were no different. Then people don't feel nothing from the 30 wells. And it's more than 30 wells we've discovered so far. More than 30. My God. We're feeling it. We get so far from it. Everett, Jennifer, Glenford, let we go. Waverly Norris, Everett Leonard. Where you get from it so far? Every time you got a new lift, how much ever millions of barrel? Cha-ching! In your bank account. Direct transfer. Direct. That's what should happen. But as Irvin Don says, it's only nice time for some. See, it's not nice time for everybody. It's not. Yesterday, this headline was brought to my attention. SpaceX Professional Services terminates contract with ExxonMobil Guyana amidst conflict of interest controversy. This is the Nigel Hughes storm in the teacup. Manufactured rage. Storm in the teacup. Conflict of interest. SpaceX, not SpaceX. Not to be confused with that other Elon Musk company, SpaceX. SpaceX. So because Nigel Hughes allegedly has a conflict of interest with Exxon being his client and all, SpaceX Professional Services says that they had hoped Exxon would distance themselves, sever ties. So if Exxon is severing ties, they're severing ties with Exxon. So when I hear SpaceX Professional Services, I say, who? Who? Who is them? Who is them? Joel Bangwandin, a PPP Cinco fund and surrogate, he says he company. This same individual apparently sits on the Public Procurement Commission. But he has a business with Exxon. That's not conflict of interest. That's not conflict of interest. Is it? Is it? He sits as a commissioner on the Public Procurement Commission. And he got a big contract with Exxon. He says that his company, in a letter in the press, let me tell you what he says his company does. He said ExxonMobil solicits professional advice on government affairs and political matters. Right? He is the PPP nominee on the public accounts, and not public accounts, the Public Procurement Commission, the government's nominee, the government of the day, not of 2015, the government of the day's nominee. And he says his company provides professional advice on government affairs and political matters on certain sensitive issues. Is that the same like Exxon paying to play? Is that the same thing? It's not conflict of interest. I don't know, Joel, but it's not a little conflict of interest. Moving on. Interesting headline. Oh God, what will I do for a cup of coffee now? I hope the folks in the kitchen hearing. What I want to do for a cup of coffee? Folks, I saw this headline here. Read it, let's sink in a little. The reading might be the problem. It's a conflict of it. Is it comprehension? Drainage and irrigation works clearing of farmlands to start in Victoria Village. If my memory serves me correct, Victoria was one of those villages that were bought by African slaves. One of those early villages bought by African slaves. A lot of African Guyanese lived there, predominantly. You might want to suggest too, you might want to assume, you might have an assumption that that's a community that historically supports the People's National Congress reform. I ain't going to rebut your presumption. I ain't going to rebut it. What is interesting to me? What's interesting to me? That we're now 4 years into this administration. And it's now they said they're going to do some DI and clearing of farmland in Victoria. It's now. So we got put on a little mal upon them and said, thank gracious one. Thank you. We gotta be thankful. I can see some of y'all saying, we gotta be thankful still. At least they're doing something. 4 years in. To start drainage and irrigation, clearing of farmlands, to start. At the start of the campaign season. Clearing of farmlands, drainage and irrigation work, to start. Marlon Thomas says it's the political gangsters looking for the vote. I was a little surprised by that. 4 years in. You know, as we're on the East Coast, as we talk in, but Victoria, as we talking about Victoria, a pine tree hit some wires there, it's blackout. I was unending yesterday. Yeah. Pine tree. At least that's what they say. It's not a rat. It's not the birds eating on the wire this time. This is a pine tree. It's a pine tree. Pine tree. Sorry, folks on the East Coast there. We're going to try to get it rectified. We're going to try. First quarter report of the Bank of Guyana says that gold declaration dipped. Sometimes when people dip under the table, they smuggle it out. Declarations, first quarter, 2024, it dipped. It went down. Vanessa De Silva says, coincidentally, it's the beginning of their campaign. PPP, Victoria, first quarter, dip. You think you know why it went down? You think you might have some suggestions? Lovely folks, on why the thing dipped. Help us out now. Y'all bright. This is Bank of Guyana reporting. First quarter declarations took a dip. Help us out if you can. If you know why dip, you let us know. Please and thanks, let us know. This post on Wellington Street, this came out of nowhere. That's what the driver says. Car slammed into a post on Wellington Street. The post came out of nowhere. Recklessness on our roads continue. Y'all be careful out there, folks. Be careful. You're coming up to program time. We can have a hard finish, as I said, because we're rushing off to other assignments, so that you guys can continue to have the valid and credible information. Out of nowhere. Just like that. Quick. Be careful out there, folks. Let's be vigilant on these roads out here. Please and thank you. Vigilance. That's been roads. Robeson Ben says that we're not going to make it to see the UN road safety goal as a country because of the rise in road fatalities. It threatens our ability to meet the target. It's not telling us where we are. It's not telling us where we're there. Arvin Don, Deborah Pearson, Deborah Clark, all the Deborahs on this morning, Andrew Griffith. We're going to meet the UN target for road safety because of the carnage that's happening out there. We're going to meet it. Wow. So they're talking the talk, but clearly they haven't been walking the walk. Haven't been walking the walk. Just want to draw that to attention. And then look these lofty goals. Last year we did lining up for sugar, rationing sugar. Them boys said by 2027, we're going to supplying the region's needs. The region's need for sugar. What's fascinating to us is that these things is always in the future. It's never something that obtains currently. It's never current. It's not like right now because we've been producing sugar at such a level, with such a surplus. Regionally, we're providing sugar. You know, there's always something, big headline, something in the future. Big headline. But we know nothing cutting at Albion. Nothing cutting at Rose Heart. Skeldon, they done closer down already. But they can supply the region's need. And last year we were lining up for sugar. Sugar was being rationed. 1-2 kg package entitlement per week. Yesterday rather, good folks, we're talking about what were we talking about? Dysfunction. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Dysfunction. There was a boat collision in the Masruni River. Some men were flung overboard. 3 of them. The body of one was pulled from the water thus far. Body of one of the 3. It's days ago, could be easily 2 weeks ago. It's more than 10 days ago. Rastaman, Leon Logan, Lester Williams, Cheryl Sampson, David Hughes. It's more than 10 days ago. The police and Marad said, we're now joining the search. That's what dysfunction looks like. And they're only joining now because the family engaged in media yesterday. Remember when I said, the family members said they're utterly frustrated. They ain't getting nowhere with the police. They said we're exhausted was the word. You remember that? But since that time, the police and Marad run out. They said we can help now. That's dysfunction. Systems not working in this country. They think dysfunctional. The police and the maritime administration. They say, as y'all talk, as y'all remind us, let's see what we could do. Valerie Clark, that's dysfunction. And Valerie said, after all them days, yes, Valerie. Yes, Valerie. And on our Facebook page, We posted a video from the police force. I think they took the boat captain back to the scene. 10 days later, oh, what a shame. Rashford said, only under the PPP. Oh, what a shame. Shame and disgrace. Shame and disgrace. And as we wrap up, bit of good news, folks. Remember that young army officer that was shot during that home invasion? I think it was last month. Not April. Yeah, April. Shot during that home invasion. He was battling for his life in hospital. Well, they said he's out of hospital now and on his way to recovery. Asim Khan, 22 years old, shot in a home invasion at Munripo on the East Coast. May 6th, May 6th, they said. He's been discharged from the GPHC May 6th. Shot in that home invasion. Battling for his life all this time. Out of hospital and doing much better. Your prayers worked, folks. If you said a prayer for young Azim, your prayers worked. Prayers worked. That's the kind of God we serve. That's the kind of God we serve. Wave the doors. 2 interesting letters. I gave you an editorial ready for homework. These 2 letters as well. Required reading. We don't have time to explicate from them. But we heard Dr. Cummins deal with this issue quite recently. Deal with the causes of neonatal deaths. 5 died at the Saudi hospital. 5 babies in June at the Saudi hospital. Deal with the causes of neonatal deaths. One letter writer said. And then this one is interesting. This one is interesting because this letter writer lays out in very broad terms how we have failed our young people. The header for this letter to the editor: our generation of youth lacks space to transform and innovate. Typical example of that, we've said here before, is the Presidential Youth Council. Presidential Youth Council launched a great fanfare at the Octa Chung Conference Center. I think to do one project yet. Launched since last year, if not the year before. I don't think they did one project yet. Right? Because the only one our young people has window dressing, not to play any meaningful role in the process. Window dressing, photo up. So they talk about empowering youth, but actions don't match it. Read this letter in today's newspaper. Our generation of youth lacks the space to transform and to innovate. That's what our young people need. Is space to do. I endorse what the letter writer says. I endorse that. Ben run out again. Keep focus on integrity, Ben tells the police. Well, you heard in Mr. Norton's comments there earlier. What he feels about the police force. Keep your focus on integrity. It's not everybody corrupted the Ghana police force. It's quite a few of them. And I think they're taking the example from the top. Few of them in there. Very corrupt. And then, folks, I wanted to point out that the University of Guyana Library, its library, Unicama courts, launched UG's children reading program. I don't think there's anything more powerful than the ability to read and to comprehend. Read, write. And that's how we have to empower every child in this country. And that's why I'm so thankful for a program like this, through the University of Ghana, always leading the way, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. And this program has been running for years. University of Ghana Library, Unicama launched Children's Reading Program. I'm happy for the folks who spend time with me, helping me to read as a child, to write as a child. All those teachers who get trouble from nursery school, primary school, secondary school. All the licks you get. I'm thankful. That ability to read impacts so much of your life. Simple as it seems, that ability to read, to comprehend for yourself. So important. Let us empower every child. Let's encourage every parent. Don't slack up. Don't slack up. I think that's going to do it for us at this end this morning. Yep, there it is. The first 15 or so, because I know people like now, let me count. The first 15 or so we think you ought to know about as we start the day today, good folks. Thanks for joining us, each and every one of you, from the many places you've joined us from. Gail Ali Cox, see you there. Jilly G, Rastaman, Evan. Good to see all of you on the live this morning. Before you go, folks, hundreds of you watching us. Hundreds, over 1,000 of you watching us. Smash that emoji button for us. Do that for us before you go. And share the live as well. Great, folks. We're going to see you guys on the next one. Elizabeth Narayan says, reading and understanding is fundamental. Reading and understanding. Fundamental. Please, God. Reading and understanding. Fundamental. We're going to see you guys in the next one. Until, folks. Until. Stay well. You're walking the corner.